Hi, in this session we'll deal with how to set up your project to use iirKlang in Visual Studio 2013. So the first thing we are going to do is create a test project. For the sound, we are going to call it test sound. Right, so in your Visual Studio, go create new project, and I'm using that Win32 console application. Say test project, test sound I mean. I'm not creating a new Git repository at the moment. Next, make sure you get a console application, empty project. Click finish. Done. First step. It's a blank project. Now, the next thing we are going to do, we're going to adding some additional include file. In our case, is where you install your the sound library. So when you write your code, you can use that include. Type in include something.h. So that's the directory. You can right click on the project, click properties. Now under configuration properties here, click on C and C++, click on general. Look at the additional include directories here. Then click on that field, drop down until you see this edit. These additional include directories dialog will appear. Add a new line and browse to where you have your library, the sound library directory. In my case, it's under this drive E here, so I put it under here, and the include file. Select the folder, click OK, apply, click OK again. Done. Then you add the library. The location is the same. It's in your sound library. In this case, instead of the one before that we use include, we're going to point to .lib file, which is under the lib directory. Same way, click on properties, but this time click under linker, general. Look at additional library directory. Drop down until you see the edit. Then additional library directories dialog box will appear. Add a new line and go hunting for where you put the library. Okay, it's under the lib. We are using Win32 Visual Studio, so we click on that one and select folder. Click OK and apply. So now we have already added where we want to link. We're going to write the code to test this sound library. Now I already have this code. But today we are talking about how to set up. So I'm just going to copy this code into our main.cpp. So create a new C++ file. I'll call it main. Add. There you go. And you just write your code to test it. Now I need to, when we talk about how this thing works, which is in a different video, you learn how to write all this code. Don't need that one anymore. Right. Now, for my student in particular, you need to copy the DLL to your target directory. But before you do that, since we never actually run or compile this code, we might try to do that first. Click on Build Solution, see if everything that we set up is working. Pay attention to down the bottom here, where the output section, to see if it has nothing wrong with it. There you go. We produce a testsound.exe under my project name, my solution name, I mean, and debug. This is where you're going to be testing all the time. I do recommend that you copy your DLL to where your exe file is. So for this particular sound library, the DLL is under bin directory, and because we are using Win32 Visual Studio, this is the DLL that I am going to use at this time. So copy it to your target directory, in other words, where after you build and create the exe file. So in our case, call test sound debug, that's where your exe file, and you paste that DLL file in there. Once we've done that, we actually have to test it. This is very important. So we run the project, run this solution. I'm going to press Ctrl F5. Now, it said cannot open sound file /media/getout.ogg. That because there is no sound file at that particular location, as I put it in the code here. Now I do recommend that you copy your sound file and create a folder called media under your solution. So I'm going to do that to show you what's going on. So here, where my solution is, no, C++. Yep, here, test sound. That's where my solution is. Debug, that's where the exe file will go. I want to create a media folder here, and then copy that sound file.ogg in it. Okay, so now I have the sound that I'm going to use, and I put that under media. The reason I'm suggesting you to do this, because when you submit your project to me, it includes this folder as well under your solution, so it's easy for you and for me. So let's go back and do the test. So, in conclusion, how to set up your project to use iirKlang in Visual Studio 2013. Step 1 is to create a test project. Step 2 is to create additional includes. Step 3, to add the library, and we do it as in the static library. However, we have to copy the DLL to your target directory. I mean, if you pay the full version, the pro version of it, you can use the library without copying the DLL to the target directory. So I'm told. And number 5 is to write the code to test it. Now, when you write a code to test it at this point, if you haven't actually built it successfully to produce the exe file, you won't have that debug directory. So I do suggest at this point you do creating a build, do the build. If it's successful, you get that debug directory under your solution. If you don't, there must be something wrong. I encourage you and ask you to go back and check all those steps, the previous step, and try to find out what went wrong or what's missing. The next thing is to test it, to actually testing it. So that's very important. Thanks for watching.